I just think that everyone in this room has the potential to do that, and all of us together is going to make that way stronger. So the 4 people that we have here on the panel truly embody that. Most of the kids in the class here come from scholarships. Like that's the reason they can go to DU. My story is interesting. I'm from Crested View, Colorado, which is an affluent community, but I grew up lower middle class, definitely could not afford DU. But I just kept calling. I just kept asking them for money, and they kept giving it to me. So, like, I'm here off of a mixture of local scholarships, merit scholarships, donor scholarships, and financial aid. And they've overfunded my education. So, yay DU. But all of these other kids have the same story. And the opportunities that we've gotten here at DU and then also Community College of Denver are pretty incredible. Here at DU, I am on student government. I run a club on campus called Women in Business. Ethics Fellows is a huge commitment. So I'm a senior marketing major with minors in public policy and sustainability. Do you guys just want to introduce yourselves really quick? And let's please welcome this amazing panel. I'm sure you guys have seen these people today a little bit.
Woo!
Hello? Can you hear that? No.
All right. Hello, my name is Lindsay. I am a junior here at DU from Kansas City, Missouri, and my major is film studies and media production, and a minor in marketing.
Good afternoon, my name is Crystal Taryn. I'm a freshman at the Community College of Denver, and I'll be majoring in business and Spanish.
Hi, my name is Abby. I am a business finance major here at DU, and I'm currently in my super senior year.
Hello guys, my name is Yusuf Adwan, and I am actually a sophomore at CCD, and my major is accounting.
What's up guys, I'm William, you saw me earlier today. I'm a music performance major in business and with a minor in business ethics and legal studies.
Thanks, you guys. So the first question I want to start with is, what advice can you give to these students in learning about which direction to go after high school?
What advice do I have? I would say the biggest thing, I would shut down opportunities just because I didn't think I could do it. And I didn't even know if I could do it, and there's so many opportunities that I could have taken advantage of, and I see other people taking that opportunity and doing great. And then I'm like, well, what if? And you should not let yourself have so many what ifs.
When you're going out of high school, there's many directions you could take in terms of where you're going with a career. I'd say the best direction to take is one that you're comfortable with, that you know will yield you happiness in the long run and will be beneficial to you. Just respect the process, do your research, make educated and informed decisions, and just make sure you're doing what's best for you at the end of the day.
Definitely agree with the two of them. For me, I knew that after high school, I really wasn't interested in college, and it had no value to me. And so if it doesn't seem like it's worth it right now, then don't do it. Take a gap year. Take that time to really see the value in college and see the value in higher education, because you're going to take it so much more seriously when you do get there. So that's something I wish I would have done, is taken a gap year, because I would have saved a lot of time and a lot of money by doing that.
What I would like to say is taking advantage of it, that's for sure. Because I never liked school myself, I'm not going to lie, and I did not know what major I wanted to be, but then getting involved into things is what I would say is a strong advice. Getting involved and building connections.
For me, it's like, you can only do something you don't like for so long. And like, I learned that the hard way. And if you're going for just like Professor McKenny was saying, Professor Kovacs, like if you're just going for like something that's gonna make you money and like you hate it, like don't do it. Because I guarantee if you do something you like and you do it well, you'll make more money than the alternative. So that's a huge worry. Like just make sure you're doing what you love and what you actually want to do.
Alright,
Oh,
so now we're gonna share a little bit of our personal stories. I hope that you find it interesting and take a little bit away from it. But I'll just be kind of brief, and if you have any questions, you can feel free to ask them after a person's done speaking. So my story starts in high school, where I went to a high school that did not care about like grades and how well of an education that we got. They just cared about like graduating kids off. So I spent a lot of my time doing the, oh, I'm gonna pretend to get this grade, or I'm gonna kiss up so I can just get that A, you know? But I realized after doing gymnastics when I was in high school, I became really good at it, and I saw that my friends that went to better high schools and more education, college-focused high schools were going out and visiting colleges for athletics. And I was like, huh, that's interesting. Like, I didn't know that was a thing. So I began to like look roughly, and I went to Oklahoma first, and they told me that I wasn't good enough for the program, and that really hurt because I felt that I wasn't good at academics and I wasn't good at athletics either. So that really discouraged me for a long time from going to college. But when I came here and visited, only because they forced me to, pretty much, they told me that they would give me a full ride. And I sat and thought about that. I was like, no, I can't do the education. Like, why would I even go to this place? Like, let alone a place that is D1, let alone a place that is a private school. And so I ended up coming, and I was like, you know what, I'll just take a year, just a year, you know, I'm gonna flunk out anyways, so like, might as well wait till they kick me out. And so I finished the first year, and I was like, well, what do I do now? Like, I actually did good, so like, I have no excuse to just leave. So I finished my second year pretty good. I made like Big 12 Academic All-American, which is like my proudest honor, even though like a lot of people made it, but I was just like, wow, I was on that team. But then following that, a few months later, I actually became a national champion in gymnastics, and that's the highest level of achievement you can get. And I still didn't feel like that was as big an accomplishment as making an academic All-American. But shortly after that, my mother had passed away, and it was devastating. Really hard for me to figure out what to do next, because I realized that me going to college and me deciding just to try it wasn't for me. It wasn't for me at all. Like, I did it for my mom, and I did it to show her that I could give back from all the things that she gave me and sacrificed. She worked in blue collar America and had to work so hard to support me and my 3 brothers, and it really upset me when I realized that I don't have that opportunity to give back to her like I would have. So just kind of my message is find what's right for you, because if you're doing it for someone else, it's not going to mean anything. I went through a few weeks, months. I actually left in the middle of a quarter, and I had to finish off the rest of the school, and I was like, I don't even want to do this, and I put very little effort in. That's just not the way to go. And once I found the true meaning of doing it for myself, so I can still give back to her in spirit, I just had to trust that I knew what I was doing, and trust that the statistical anomaly of me growing up how I did, being here, is so rare, and it's a shame not to take advantage of that.
Thank you.
So my story begins with, I guess, my parents. I'm a first generation high school graduate and first generation college attendee. I was born to Mexican parents, immigrants who came here to find a better life. English was not my first language. I had to learn it, and all the odds were kind of against me growing up. Even now, statistically, for Hispanic students and any other minority students, according to statistics, we're less likely to make it to the finish line. And just seeing all the hard work that my parents have put in to make sure I'm able to make it there when they couldn't, that's one of the things that really pushes me to keep going. It's respecting their values that they've instilled in me, and they've taught us growing up, like, with how hard they've worked and how much they've sacrificed. They've made it very clear that, this doesn't have to be the way you live your life. You don't have to be struggling, you don't have to be, worrying about this and that, when you could just get an education, pursue a higher education, and have a stable career. A lot of jobs nowadays, even like entry jobs, mid-entry, they want that college degree, and it's becoming even more and more crucial crucial by the day. But you know, like throughout high school, I didn't see the value of college, and I slacked, and I messed up a couple opportunities that I had. So leaving high school, I took a gap year, really kind of took some time to research, see what options I had for school. You know, if you feel like, oh, well, I missed out on scholarships, I can't do it. You know, there's FAFSA. The state of Colorado has financial aid that they give out to their students. There's plenty of options out there. There's plenty of resources. There's plenty of people who want to help. If you ever need someone to help you get to where you need to be to have a career, there's plenty of people who are willing to do that. You just have to kind of advocate for yourself. You know, it's not going to be handed to you, and it won't be easy, but it'll definitely be worth it. So as long as you're making those educated decisions and you just kind of know what you're signing up for, you should be perfectly fine. And I'm seeing all of you guys, and it's like I was in your place just 2 years ago. Didn't expect myself to even make it here, and it's really a privilege to just be learning more and kind of be paving the way to a better future for myself. So I think you guys are all capable, more than capable of doing the same, and the fact that you're here even just shows that you're on the right path already. So congrats to you guys as well. Thank you.
Hello. So, like I said before, I'm in my super senior year, and the reason that happened is because in my senior year of high school, I was not interested in college whatsoever. I didn't take the ACT, I didn't take the SAT, I didn't apply to any four-year institutions. I said, I just did 12 years of school and now I have to pay to go for 4 more. I'm not interested, I don't want to do it at all. And graduation kind of came around and all my friends were leaving and I had no plan. I had nothing to do in September. So I sat and I kind of thought like, okay, well what's gonna make me excited to go to school every day? And I'm like, well, I've always really liked fashion, so why not study fashion? And that's what I did. I got into a private for-profit school, which means that the school operates like for a profit. It was called the Fashion Institute, and it was in San Francisco. And it was an amazing opportunity, but I decided that as I went through it, that it was a little too narrow. And I wanted to do more than just the fashion industry. I was like, well, what if I want to go into music? Or what if I want to go into finance? Or what if I want to go into the wine industry? You know, I didn't want to be narrowed into a certain degree, so I decided to leave. I took a quarter off, and I moved to San Diego, and I did 2.5 years of my general education in San Diego. And when you get to community college, they very much are like, okay, so after this, where are you transferring to? And you kind of need to choose pretty quickly because there are different paths for you. And if you decide to do a UC, you know, like a University of Colorado, or you decide to do a private school, you're gonna have different classes to take. And of course, I didn't make up my mind, so I took a whole bunch of classes I didn't need to, and I eventually transferred to UC Irvine, which is a massive University of California in Irvine. I would sit, in my first 2 weeks, I would sit in a classroom like this, and it would be filled, and there'd be one little professor up here, and he'd be talking about economics, and I'd be all the way in the back like, I can't even hear this guy, this isn't fun. I didn't just spend 2 years at community college working my butt off to sit here and feel like it's not worth it. So I left after the first 2 weeks, I dropped out, and I decided to come to DU instead. My cousin had gone here, and so I knew about the business program through her, and I just liked what Daniels kind of stood for, and the business school, the different classes they had, and it had value to me, and it made sense, and it made me want to go to school. And so with my story, it's definitely that if you lose sight of the value and you lose sight of why you're doing this, then don't do it. You can change, you can decide to take time off. Like, you don't have to feel like, oh, I got in, I have to do this for the next 4 years, I have to pay for this. Because you can decide to change, you can decide to pivot. But definitely, you know, try to make up your mind as quickly as you can, but don't feel like you have to stick with it the whole time.
All right, well, before I start off, let's just get this straight. Who doesn't like school? Just be honest about it, who doesn't? I agree with you guys, because I didn't like school neither. I never did all throughout my life. Maybe it depends on my childhood and how it was. So let's start off with my background. So I was actually born in Palestine. I came here when I was 12 years old. And I never liked school. Back there, being cool was actually slacking in school and like showing that you don't care. That was the cool, and everybody used to aim for that point. Then my mindset just stayed on it, basically, you know. And then when I came here, I just wanted to get it over with. I was pretty bad. I was pretty F student, I would say. Like all middle school, it was just Fs. And then my high school, my freshman year, I had 5 Fs each semester. Then I was forced, my parents forced me to go to summer school. But then actually what I did summer school pretty well. I did a couple of classes, and that helped me boost up as well. It helped me fix my grades and boost up. Then they just made me stick around with it, because I didn't want to go through summer school neither, you know? And then after all of that, I just sticked around, basically, just try to be a C student, you know? All throughout the high school, and I ended up graduating early. Then when I was done, I did not plan on college, had no plan or nothing. But then the next day, what I thought of the advice that I gave earlier is build connections. So I found me a connection that I made with an accounting firm, and then they hired me, they gave me an internship there, and then I started learning it better. And I learned it within a year or so, all the system and how it works. And now as I'm stepping up into a partnership, I plan on expanding myself. Then I realized I needed school. Because to own a business or like step your game into a partnership, you need school. Even though I didn't like it, I just wanted to get it over with, it was really important to get to it. And now I'm doing it basically. The goal for me is to expand nationwide the company. And like anywhere I try to go or anything, it just tries to stop me. They're like, where's your degree? That's the first question you get. And now, as I'm in college, I find it pretty fun and I love it, I'm not going to lie. It's way more freedom than high school, that's for sure. Then you can choose it at your own times and everything. And yeah, basically, just go along with it, get it out of the way, and you will always need it. You will always need it there for you. Thanks.
Alright guys, I'll keep mine short and sweet. Does anyone know the song Scholarships by Drake and Future? Yeah, so like that's how I've gotten through life. It's just tons and tons of scholarships, so like they're available. Basically, like I said, I'm from LA and I didn't exactly come from a great situation, which was like go to college, you know, do well. But one day I was just like, I don't want to be poor, it sucks. So I was just like, I'll be an investment banker. And then I took AP Calculus, and then life told me I will not be an investment banker. So, not doing that. But I realized like I really liked music, so I entered the music game pretty late, but it was something that I really loved, and I practiced so much every single day. And if you would have told me I would have been at DU's Lamont School of Music in high school, I would have been like, drugs aren't cool. Yeah, so I did that, and then I applied to like tons of colleges, and I got a full ride to everywhere that I applied. And it was just because I decided like, this is me, this is what I'm gonna do, it's actually what I wanted to do. And I know for a fact, if I would have applied for business, good luck, you know, it wouldn't have been great. So I used what I'm good at to work for me, to then get into business, and then I used Canada to make myself money. I would play in competitions, I started teaching, and in LA, since everybody's got money there, you can charge $70 an hour and nobody bats an eye. So that's what I'm saying, like when you get things like that and just doing something that you actually love, like it's cheesy, but like I genuinely didn't feel like I was working. It almost felt like a scam, you know, like I just sit there and yell at their kid for an hour and they pay me, like it was crazy. So like, I did that, and then yeah, I applied to DU. And at first I didn't think I would come here, but the professor here like really established a rapport with me. They flew me out and they paid for my flight. I auditioned for them. They put me up somewhere to stay, and they said, we would love to have you here. Here's a full ride, you should come. And I was just like, I'd be stupid to say no, especially with all that they did for me. Even though these other places offered the money, DU definitely showed like, we care about our students and we will help you from the beginning until the end. So, yeah, I mean, scholarships are a thing. There's millions and millions and millions of dollars offered every single year everywhere. And it doesn't even have to be through school. So, you know, money or family situation or anything around you that's telling you not to go to college and you're thinking you might want to, it's definitely something worth looking into. And it's possible. It's always possible. You just gotta put in a little bit of work and you get tenfold
some really incredible stories. I think it's pretty clear that if you work hard enough and you want something, like, there are people out there to help you achieve it. So that's sort of the question I want to end on, like, if some of you want to touch on this, because we're kind of out of time. Where did you get support? How did you get support? Was it counselors? Was it parents? Like, where did you find the people in your life that would push you to do better?
I would say that I didn't have any support, and I didn't know what support was like until I got here and found those people. Coming from a family where I'm a first gen and no one's been to college, no one knows what it's like. I can't go like call up my brother and be like, hey, like, do you know how to do this? No, he's not gonna say no, or yes. So, I mean, it's something that I didn't know I needed. So I guess this is the first step. Now that you know you need it, go look for it.
So I didn't have a whole lot of help either. I'm the first person in my family to go to CCD. My sister went to Metro, so certain questions I'd have for her, she didn't really know how to answer them. But if you go to any of your institution's websites, you can always find like links to financial aid, like, you know, financial advisors or admissions counselors. I'd say that was probably my biggest support system, was like those on-campus resources, especially with the community college. You know, it's a little smaller too, like, you know, you could reach out to pretty much anyone and be taken care of, so yeah.
For me, I was really, really lucky to have amazing parents who supported me through this, who both went to college and kind of were able to sympathize with me. So that was amazing, but also my friends from high school and my amazing boyfriend who sat with me while I cried 4 times through calculus. And you know, just those people that I was able to reach out to who were going through the same things I was, it helped so much to just have somebody to go, yeah, I know what you're feeling, it really sucks, and you're just gonna have to get through it. So.
I would say my biggest motivation was my family, especially my parents and siblings. And then my other motivation is me expanding myself. I am not able to, basically I would say my job, because I am not able to expand myself without the degree. As anywhere you try to go, that's what they need basically.
Yeah, for me, luckily I had really chill parents and really supportive parents, but I think like the people who definitely helped me the most, at least in school or doing what I want to do, like just find one teacher, just find one professor. You know, if you can have that professor that'll like talk with you, that you can go to during lunch or between class periods and just say what's up and like just talk, like that professor or teacher will do everything and anything for you to get you where you want to go. So I always had professors wherever I went like that, so something to think about.
Let's give our panel one more. Seriously, once again, thank you guys so much for coming and doing this with us. It has really been an amazing day for all of us. Please go through your packet when you get home. It's filled with a bunch of resources for applying to colleges, applying for financial aid, how to get scholarships, how to write a resume. Those are just going to be really helpful resources for you if any of this resonated with you. So right now, we're going to the hockey game. Yay! Go Pioneers! If you can't go to hockey, let us know if you need help getting back to your car. And that's it. Thanks so much.
Woo!